Okay, so this is a how-to use Excel to create behavior graphs. So I'm going to first show you just how to do it from scratch. If you're creating your first behavior graph on Excel or if it's a new IEP, and then from there I'll show you how to do it if you've already created behavior graphs for 1 month and you just want to do the next month. So some basic things about Excel. Up here, this is the undo button, so if you type in something and you type in something you don't like that last thing you typed in, you can go here and it should undo that last step, and if you also don't like the step before it, you can go undo, but this step right here, this will redo. So those are good things to know. Other things, these tabs are very useful. Home is basic formatting, your font, your size. Insert, you can insert pictures. Text box are useful. This is where we'll get our graph from, is insert charts. And we'll get to the rest of this stuff. So these are good to check out. And then down here, so in Excel there are different sheets. So you could, if you wanted to, label the sheets. You could use the different sheets, and you can add sheets by pressing this button right here. So you could, for example, do a behavior graph on each sheet. So this could be January, and this could be February. I'm literally double clicking on the tab, and it should highlight it, and then you can type in it and relabel it. You can also, you could change it so this is your behavior chart, and this is your behavior graph, and you can just get rid of these tabs by right-clicking and then clicking delete. Right-click, delete, right-click, delete. So I'm going to show you this way where we have the behavior chart and the behavior graph page. So we'll start on the behavior chart page. We're at home. So the way I've seen most behavior charts set up is you have your annotations column, you have your date column, and then you have your behavior. So I'll have behavior 1 and behavior 2. I'll just do 2 to make it easy. If your annotations box isn't big enough, you can put your mouse right on that line between column A and column B, and then slide, and it should get bigger. So let's say I wanted to write right here, my student had a medical issue, and now it fits, whereas if the box was this big, it wouldn't fit and you wouldn't see it once I wrote things in here. So we're just going to slide. You can write your annotations, you can write vacation, right here. Okay, so next is dates. So say I started my behavior graph on the 20th. So the traditional way you might think to write it in is to just write all of the dates in. That will take a long time. A really easy shortcut to get dates written down is to put your mouse right on this bottom right corner, click and drag all the way down to however many dates you want. So I want to just go to here, and it gives me all the dates. And you can always click and drag and add more if you want to add more. I don't, so I'm going to undo. And you type in your behaviors. So let's say this is a very variable behavior. It's different every day, and this one's really steady and high. Okay, that's my behavior chart. Easy peasy. So behavior graph. So we'll go to the behavior graph page. So what you can do, and you can do this on your behavior chart page, it doesn't really matter how you do it, whether they're combined or not combined. So you would insert, to create a graph, you would insert, and you want to find charts. I've only seen line graphs as our behavior graphs, so I would go to line, and then these options will drop down, and they're all just styling options. And the top left one is the most simple, so I always choose the top left one, and this box should pop up when you do that. To get data into the box, you right-click it. This list of options will show up, and you can click Select Data. And then you go back to Behavior Chart, and you click and drag the behaviors that you want. And you only click and drag date and then your behaviors. I never do the annotations because it makes it look sort of sloppy, but if you want to try that, you can. I always start from date and go through the behaviors. So I wanted those, and then I'm going to click OK. And see, my chart this is a basic chart. I will say sometimes it looks a little goofy because you have a ton of behaviors or something else is going on, and it will look something like this, where your behaviors are on your x-axis and your dates are in the legend, and you don't want that. All you have to do is click Switch Row or Column, and it should go to where your dates are on your x-axis and your behaviors are on your y-axis. So that is what I want. I will show you one more thing. So let's say you don't want all of your behaviors on one chart and you want two different charts. What you can do, so I'm just going to create a whole new chart. So you can either go to Insert and then Line and then create a new graph like that. Where'd it go? I don't see it. But that should work. Or you can just click on the first graph and right click and click Copy, and then click on the cell and click Paste, and it should make a new box, which is the exact same thing as the old box. But then you can go click on it and do right click, select data, and you can select new data. So let's say you only want to do one behavior at a time. So you select your data, OK, and then you just have behavior 1. And a simple way of getting behavior 2 data is, so we're going to copy it again. We'll paste it right here. So copy it and paste. And then we'll go to, so we clicked on this graph. We'll go to behavior. It doesn't work here. So you could do select data. Select data. There. We're working on this. It's a work in progress. So select data, and then we'll click on behavior 1 and remove. And then OK, and it should work. Yep, that worked. Another way to do that, let's see, select data, and then you can click add behavior, cancel. Ignore that. Okay, you can play with that. So we have our two graphs, and they don't exactly look the way we want them to. They are not formatted nicely. So I'm going to show you some formatting things. So first of all is we need some titles. So we're going to go here. This Chart Tools box should pop up when you're doing graphs. There are 3 options under it. There's Design, there's layout, and there's format. And I mostly use layout option. So I'm going to go to layout to get titles. So you can go to chart title and chart title, and you can do either centered, overlay title, or above. I think above is neater, so I'll do that. And then you can click on it and change your chart title. So you can write in whatever you want. Dory's August data. You can do behavior 1 August 8/26 through 8/29. However you want to title it. You might also want titles on your axes. So you can go to axis titles. So for our x-axis, our horizontal axis, you go to, so again I'll show you, axis, horizontal, title below axis. And that should pop up. You can click on it and change it. So I'm just going to label that axis date, and then axis titles, vertical axis. I usually choose rotated title, and I'm going to make this title, I usually write frequency, and so now we have everything with a title. Another awesome thing is that all of these are movable. So for example, if you don't like where your legend is, you can click on the legend and drag it to a different place. And if you mess up and you accidentally click your charts, that's fine. You can just click undo. So now this is looking a lot better. But let's say that I don't like my frequency, that I want all of my graphs to go up to 10, like my behavior 2. So I can click on the frequency, and it should have this outline when you click on it, and then you right click it and go to format axis, and then it should show up like this. So I like my minimum to be at 0, so there's an option for 0 behaviors, but maximum I'm going to put fixed, and I'm going to change it to 10. Also, I want to fix my units. Sometimes they'll put the units and they'll do 0.5, 1, 1.5. I'm going to fix it at 1 as my units. And now my chart looks like this. These charts look basically very similar, minus that this is more formatted than this one. Other fun options, you can format your data series. So you can put markers in so that you can really clearly see where the dot is. Now I have little markers. You can also do data labels, so that you know exactly what the numbers are. If you're having trouble, if your frequency is going up to, let's say we format the axis and we want all of our data charts to go up to 50, because we're having a lot of behaviors, and then suddenly it's really hard to tell what's going on here. So one option is to just make this a lot bigger, and another option is to put labels so you can see exactly where it's at. This is 4, this is 7, this is 2, and this is 1. So again, I did that by going to layout and then data labels. Another thing is grid lines. Right now we have horizontal grid lines, and they're sort of clouding up my picture, my graph, so I can get rid of them. But if you're at frequency, if your maximum on your frequency is 10, then it might actually make sense to have those grid lines, and so I might put in the grid lines. I'm actually going to make this smaller again, so it's the same size as the other one. Other good tools to know about. Sometimes I want to note when my student had a medical issue or when they were absent. So the way that I do that is I click on inserts and then I go to text box. And I'll draw in a little text box. You can put it anywhere and write, so let's say I had a medical issue. You can specify what it is, but I'm just going to say medical issue. You can format that so it's bigger or smaller. I'm going to format it so it's smaller. You can change the size of your text box. And then you can take that text box and move it. So let's say my student had a medical issue on this day. I can put that box right there. And now I know on this day my student had a medical issue. You can also take that text box and put it up here, and you could write it in, 8:20 medical issue. And then you know up here. But those are all the options. Other things to know. I think that's about all, so I'm going to turn this off and I will give you another video for the next